All right. Okay.
Are we recording now?
Yeah, we're recording now. Hey, how are you doing today? We are live from East Alabama, and we are the.
Crazy hope dealers.
She's having to say that because I can't
Because
remember that. I can't remember that half the time. But anyway, we're here to offer you hope and fun and health.
Yes.
It's really health, hope, and fun.
Yeah, just all those three
Yeah,
together.
just all those things. So I'm going to turn it over to her.
Okay, so each week we're going to have a different subject, and it's just something that's, we've been thinking about, so it's nothing, political, maybe sometimes, who knows, you never know. But I see Amy giving that look over there. So today it's, why are you so serious? Why are we all so serious? So we started to think of some things that maybe, should be funny, but people just get so uptight about it.
Mm-hmm.
So we thought of some different things, and I'm just going to say one of those things is, have you ever watched these videos to where you see people being scared, whether at a haunted house or, they may get so scared they jump on somebody's back, or they may fall to the floor and make this really weird face? I particularly love that. So those are things I think are funny that maybe other people might think, you're so mean. Why are you being so mean? They're getting scared and they're making those reactions and you're making fun of them. So it's just kind of things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and I would be the one that she would be laughing at because I would be the one to trip or fall or whatever.
Yes. Yeah, I went on a haunted house trip with some friends, and they took me because I'm the one that gets really scared. And by the time we all got out of there, I was on this guy's shoulders, and I had my head like covered up with my hands, and my fingers were in my ears. So yeah, it's funny, but yet some people may not think it's funny. What are some things that you would think of?
Well, it's not so much funny as things that I have done to embarrass myself and kind of offend people, like, well, can I say it? Can I go ahead?
Sure,
and say
go
it?
ahead.
Okay, well,
We can do anything. It's our show.
Yeah, it's our show.
It's good.
So I was trying to think of the times I've really put my foot in my mouth and knew that I offended somebody, and a lot of it has to do with at church. Okay, so I know that a lot of people may not go to church. A lot of you may go to church and can identify with this, but I have been known to say, to somebody that I've seen, is this your first Sunday? And I've never seen them in church. And they quickly said, no, we've been members for 2 years now. So, that's just a way that I can always do that. Or the fact that, other times I have misspoken and called somebody a ma'am, which, it really kind of was a sir. And, I've misspoken like that. I've also many times have looked at some people, some of my friends, and said, when is your baby due? And they're absolutely not pregnant. So there have been many times I have stuck my foot in my mouth. So I'm more prone to misspeak a lot of times, and I don't mean anything by it. I mean, I don't mean to hurt people's feelings or anything. It just comes out, kind of just
Yes.
throw up there right before them, and then I feel really, really bad because, I never want to hurt anybody's feelings. That's just me. So
I tend to laugh when I'm not supposed to. So,
yes.
so I have another story about this lady when I was in junior college, and I stayed in the dorms. And she was a mean lady. Like, she was the lunchroom lady, but she was mean. She was kind of like the Nazi, you see on Seinfeld with the soup Nazi. She was like, no more mashed potatoes, no more. And so she would like sit there and she would like point at you no more. And so this one day, we had an incline going down the back of our cafeteria, and she always wore dresses, and she was a bigger lady. So she decided that she would go out the back door to help with carrying in some boxes, and she tripped and she slid all the way down that hill. And see, I'm laughing now, but it was really funny because her dress went all the way over her head. And I just couldn't do anything but laugh because she'd been so mean to me. And so I was thinking, you know, now her dress is up there and now I have to be nice. So I went over there and kind of helped her with her dress. But then I was still laughing.
Yeah. So I had this situation that happened to me in college, and I don't think I've ever told you about it. But I had a mischievous side to myself, and because I went to an all-girls school, you know, you can only imagine, you just kind of had to make your fun. You made your own fun. But anyway, we had a dorm mother, and her name was Miss Driggers. And Miss Driggers and I just really didn't, we didn't mix well.
Mesh, yes.
Yeah, we didn't mesh. And so she was pretty much right about me. I was just a clown, so to speak. But one
I can't
night,
imagine that at all.
yeah. So one night, I thought it would be fun around, I don't know, 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning, to found these party horns, and I thought this would be really great to go outside of her door and blow these, you know. So, of course, that's what I did, and I thought this is going to be just great. Well, so I blew the party horns and then ran up to the third floor to go to my room. And I thought I was in the clear, but then I heard the elevator door open, and I heard her coming down, and she had a plethora of keys on her belt, and they were like cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching.
Yes.
And so she was yelling my name
Oh, no.
as,
How did you know it was you?
well, I don't know. But anyway, so I hate to say this, but the first thing I did was I jumped on the toilet.
Why'd you jump on the toilet?
Because I told the biggest fib of saying, you know, when she came into my room, she says, Amy, I know this was you. You did this. I know it was you. And she came to the bathroom, didn't even knock. She came right on in the bathroom. So I was sitting on the pot. And she says, where have you just been? And I said, Miss Driggers, I've been sitting here. My stomach's just messed up. And just told a bold-faced lie. And anyway, I feel bad about that because I never did say that it was me. And the next day she came up to me and said, I hope that you're feeling so much better today. And I said, I am. That's terrible, isn't it? And I got away with a lot of stuff in college. But anyway, I've learned now that that may be funny, but it's not really funny. It's not
Right.
funny. It's not funny.
It is kind of funny.
It's really
very
not.
funny.
But anyway.
I know there's a lot of things, and you know, especially this day and age, where people, you know, take things too seriously, and you just never. I mean, if things are funny, I think you should laugh. I mean, we have so many labels on things these days, and I mean, you just need to have fun and stop worrying about what people are going to think about you.
Yeah, and the gist of it is that a lot of times we just we take things so seriously. We're thinking about ourselves and how it made us feel. You know, we're not really thinking about the other person. They're embarrassed for what they said or what they did. And so a lot of times, you know, I know about myself when I stick my foot in my mouth. Well, I need some grace. I definitely need grace. And when I recognize that somebody has, you know, offended me or done something, I'm quick to say, hey, that's fine. No big deal. You know, that's fine. You know, we're all on the same page here. We all say stupid things. And but, you know, God calls us to love people, but He also calls us to live in peace. And that's the biggest thing we need to remember is that being offended causes a lot of anxiety in our hearts and a lot of, there's a lot of people who have held on to things for years because they never did forgive somebody that said something to them. And so they, have kind of wasted away inside because of that very thing. So,
And life is too short to just sit back and wonder who's going to offend you next.
yeah.
Because it's going to happen. I mean, some people just, it depends on your frame of mind too, because you can wake up in a bad mood and it seems like everybody is doing something to offend you, when really it's your own thinking that day. It's not. I mean, because we can take anything and we can make it into offensive if we want to. So it's our mind frame is what's making that happen. It's not the words that people say, it's the way we take it. So that's the, because I'll be honest, there's some really funny things in this world, and if you sat back and went, oh my goodness, I can't believe that happened, then, you just gotta laugh out loud sometimes. Just really laugh out loud. So much so to where you're crying. That's the best kind of laugh.
We need to laugh at ourselves sometimes because
yes.
we're certainly gonna mess up. We're not perfect. God did not make us to be perfect. We're human, so we say things, we do things that is crazy and may not make sense to people. Now, I want to do just a clarification here, okay? Some of you have really been run over, really run over in your life. Somebody's really, really hurt you. Not so much with words, but maybe physically. We're not talking about that. We're not talking about that. That's a whole different ballgame.
Yes.
We're just talking about things that people may say that, kind of ruffle your feathers. And sometimes we just need to step back and think about that person and the person that they are, and if they really meant it or not, kind of look at that and study up on it. And also, the Bible talks about that if somebody does offend us, that, we should approach them. We should go to them and be able to talk to them and say, what offended us, and be able to work things out. And that's called living in peace. That's what God wants us to do. He wants us to be at peace with people.
Yes.
He wants us to be at peace on the inside too. So.
Yeah, because you can. I have a story about, and it happened to me a week ago. I was in a grocery store, and this lady came by and with her shopping cart, and she ran all into my shopping cart, and then she looked back at me and she said, "Get out of the way." And for some people that would have set somebody off, and there would have been a fight in the grocery store. But for me, I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I must have had my buggy out in the middle of the road." And then she said, "Are you talking to me?" And she kind of had a little confrontation. It was one-sided because I wasn't saying anything back to her. I was just getting my mac and cheese for my son and just didn't want any conflict in the grocery store, which Amy knows my grocery store stories are kind of...
She has many.
I have a lot of grocery store stories. I think, I'm not always eating, but I'm always in the grocery store.
Mm-hmm.
But so she just really was complaining about how it was me that ran into her, and so I just I put my mac and cheese in my buggy, and then I said, "Ma'am, I'm sorry, I will get out of the way." I said, "You must be having a bad day today," and boy, that really set her off then, because she wasn't. She was like, "How dare you to ask me if I was having a bad day?" And so I just said, "You know what, I'm sorry." I said, "I'll get out of the way." I said, "I hope your day is better." And then I went on down the aisle, and when I was getting to the end of the aisle, she was a little shorter lady, and she couldn't reach the top shelf. And so I could tell she was standing there, and she was, like, "How am I going to get this off the shelf?" And I said, "Do you need something from the top of the shelf?" She goes, "No." And I said, I'm taller, I can help you. And she said...
You just offended her.
I really did, probably. Yes, because I probably said that she was shorter than me.
Yeah,
Who knows?
yeah, absolutely.
But so I reached up there and got the can that she needed on the top, and she said, "I'm sorry about earlier." So it's all how we handle things. Like if we go into each day thinking the day's going to be bad, and that everything you encounter that day, it will turn out to be exactly the way you thought it would be. But if you think of every morning as how can I be a blessing to someone, and you go through your day, and no matter how people treat you, you're still a blessing to them, that's what God wants us to do. So this was kind of a just something we were thinking about today, and I hope you guys enjoy this and can kind of see the humor in some of it, and we're going to do these weekly. So so don't think that you've gotten rid of us because we're coming back next week.
Yes, we're going to try to lighten the load for some of you, because we need this in this day and time. We need to be able to talk and to be able to say things in love, and but we want to provide you with that. We want to provide you with some fun, and anyway.
Because we're actually really good friends, and we kind of play off of each other, and it's we kind of think alike. So
She talks, I listen.
maybe.
Yeah.
She's the words of maybe wisdom, and I'm just sitting back here listening too.
She's my hero.
Oh no, you're crazy. Crazy hope dealers.
Crazy
That's
hope
us.
dealers.
Yes. Woo. Okay. So y'all have a good afternoon,
Yes.
and we will see you next week.
All right, take care.
Bye.
Bye.